But listen, the first thing that we have to talk about is the reigning national champions have had quite a bit of roster movement over the course of the last week. Andre Jackson has declared for the draft while leaving his options open to return. Sanogo has declared for the draft, and it does not look like he is going to come back at this point, although that possibility is still on the table.
Come back to UConn?
No, come back to college.
Oh, I thought you were saying come back to UConn.
Yeah, come back.
I don't think that possibility really exists.
Yeah, we'll get into that conversation in a little bit here. And Naheem Aline has entered the transfer portal and has already committed to Big East rival St. John's and their Hall of Fame head coach, Rick Pitino. I want to start with this, though, Goodman. Andre Jackson heading to the draft, at least working out and preparing for the draft. He's going to go through the process. He's going to test the waters. He's going to get the feedback that he should be getting. I believe that this is the right decision for him to get all the information available to him. I think that he will be a top 40 pick if he declares. The big question to me, well, does he want to play in the G League?
Well, here's the biggest thing for me. The biggest thing for me is, where is he going to? He just won a national title. So where are you going to get better at? Are you going to get better doing this again in Storrs, Connecticut, where, frankly, you're not going to get a ton of – you've got classes to worry about. You've got other things. Or you want to just go pro, whether you're a top 30, 40, 60 pick, where you can improve your outside shot, because that is the only thing holding Andre Jackson back right now. Mm-hmm. That's it. He's got everything else in his arsenal. He's tough as shit. He makes people better. He's an elite defender who can guard multiple positions. He can put on the floor. He does everything but shoot the ball. So to me, if I'm giving the advice to Andre Jackson, which I don't want to be, but if I was advising him, I would say, you know what, your best bet right now, start your clock. Yes, you could probably make a little bit more money coming back to UConn, potentially, although it's probably a wash at this point. Who knows? If he goes in the top 40, he'll make more money playing pro than he would with NIL in college at UConn. But I would say, again, the biggest thing for him, getting that perimeter shot, and you do that in the NBA. You don't do that in college, because he's just not going to get enough reps in college.
Yeah, I think the big question that he probably has is, where's he going to be playing? This is the dude that really enjoys being a college basketball player, being a student athlete at UConn. He's one of those guys that just loves it, right? You fly chartered flights everywhere, right? You're going to be able to make enough NIL money that he's not going to be sitting there. What did Shabazz Napier used to say? He used to go hungry at night. Andre Jackson ain't going to go hungry at night, right?
Not sure everyone hungry at night.
Yeah. Okay. So the big question to me is going to be, is he okay playing in the G League, right? Is he going to be, if he gets drafted in the early second round, he's probably going to be a guy that spends the beginning of the season playing down in the G League. Does he want to play in the G League, or does he want to come back to college for a year? Now, if he ends up being a first round pick and someone tells him, look, you're going to be on an NBA roster 95% of the season, then I think that he probably has to take that and has to make that decision to go.
But nobody's going to tell him that. I mean, that's where people don't understand, like these promises. They don't exist generally, especially late in the first round. Or like a team could say, hey, if you're there when we're picking, we're going to take you. They don't know who else might slide. It's like the NFL draft coming up. It's the dumbest shit ever. Yes, there can be a promise at like 8 or 10. If you're there, we're going to take you. And again, for the most part, they know what's going to happen the 7 spots in front of them, for the most part. But at 30, at 40, you generally have no idea. There might be somebody there that they didn't expect that. Hey, sorry, Andre, we told you we'd take you, but we didn't know this dude was going to be there. So, and I'm not saying that just with Andre Jackson. I'm saying that with anybody that's going in the late first round, that's going in the second round. There's no such thing as a promise at that point.
Yeah. What I will say is that if enough teams tell you that we'll take you if you're around, then you can have a pretty good idea that you're going to be selected in a certain range. And if you get that idea that you're going to be selected in that certain range, then you probably need to go. Speaking of being selected in a certain range, I don't know if Sanogo is going to end up getting drafted. He's one of the more interesting conversational pieces when it comes to this offseason, right? We're talking about a guy, UConn legend, a guy that was instrumental in bringing the program back to college basketball supremacy, and a guy that was the Final Four most outstanding player. And now it's looking like he's going pro without the guarantee of being an NBA player next season. What do you see on his future? Do you believe that he is absolutely going to the NBA or going to the professional route?
You're trying to get me to say something here, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm trying to get you to say something. Let me tell you guys about our sponsor for today's episode, Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 a few weeks back. When we get in the middle of college hoop season, it can be hard for me to eat and drink as healthy as I probably should be, especially in late February and March when the schedule gets really busy. But I found that I've felt better as I've made AG1 a part of my daily routine. I take AG1 in the afternoons after the coffee is worn off and once the itis post-lunch is kind of set in. And what I found, my energy levels are up. It's improved my digestion. And as a result, I'm not only more efficient and productive in the most important time of the year for me and for the field of 68, but I'm working out more consistently. I just feel better. AG1 is so much more than just a greens powder. It's comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally could not be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix one small scoop of the AG1 formula with water, and I drink it every single afternoon. Done, just like that. I also like that it only costs $3 a day. The price is right. If a comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is the answer. They are giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Free! Just go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's athleticgreens.com/field68. The link is in the description below. Check it out. Support the field of 68 and feel better about yourself.
All right. So I got to be very careful here. But obviously, Adama Sanogo was the best player on the best team in the country this year. He wants to go pro. Like you said, will he be drafted at all? I don't know the answer to that. Could he get a two-way? Yeah, I mean, probably, somewhere in that late second round, maybe he's undrafted, but he gets a two-way. You're talking 400, 500, 600,000 a year, somewhere around there. He's not going back to UConn. I mean, it would shock the hell out of me if he ends up going back to UConn.
It can't. You're not going to have Sanogo and Klingon part two. It's just not going to.
You've already told Klingon that Sanogo is not going to be there if you're UConn. So that's already, you've kind of closed the door on that. The Klingon's going to be the guy that gets 30 minutes a game. And that's part of the reason why he came back, because Klingon would have been drafted. I talked to like four or five NBA GMs, and they all said they would have taken him in that 25 to 40 range. So he definitely would have been drafted potentially late in the first round. I see a scenario. There's two scenarios that could play out. One is, hey, you know what? Sanogo's going pro no matter what. He's just going pro. He's done what he could do. And the other scenario is the feedback isn't good from the NBA guys. You're not going to be drafted. And he says, you know what? At this point, can't really go back to UConn. I'm going to throw my name in the portal here. I don't know if he's going to get enough information at that point to be able to do it, because there's a date, I forget what it is, when the portal basically closes. I assume you could still fight that to some degree. But I think, again, I don't know how much confidence he's going to have, because I assume he'll be at the combine. He'll meet with teams. He'll work out for teams maybe, after that. And I just think at that point, it's almost might be too late. So I think he ends up going pro at this point. And whether it's, in the G League or maybe he gets drafted late in the second round, who knows? But I still think there's a slim possibility that you could see Adama Sanogo in a different college uniform next year, making a shit ton of money for NIL.
Yeah. So what I've been told is that the offers that he's heard has been somewhere around the $800,000 range, right? Which is more than he would get if he was on a two-way. And for the record, I feel confident in the fact that he would probably end up on a two-way if he went to the professional route. I just think that the way that he kind of showcased a better ability to move, a better ability to pass, a better ability to shoot, and the fact that he's only been playing basketball for 6 years, I think that someone would buy into the idea, man, you know what, maybe we can turn this guy into a small ball five. I don't know. And give him a two-way contract, which is like $500,000 a year. So if he goes pro, even if he gets a two-way, in theory, he's probably leaving a little bit of money on the table. But